Hi, I'm Kate and welcome to my channel. Let's talk small palettes. So I was trying to kind of categorize my palettes and I was thinking, some of the smaller palettes, just with more curated color stories, are some of my favorites. I'm not talking just small in size. Like, I do have these Viseart palettes that are really little, however they do have 12 pans. So what I'm classifying small as is 9 pans and smaller. I have a pretty good size collection, but I do find myself grabbing for smaller palettes, probably more often than some of my big ones, because I like just something that's more curated and simpler to use. And one of the first things that pops into my head when I think of good small palettes is ColourPop's 9-pan palettes. Now, I do have a bunch right here, but I'm just going to share a couple of my favorites. So one that I really love is Making Mauves. This is just a beautiful mauve tone palette, great for bridal. This is easily one of my favorite ColourPop 9-pan palettes. Another favorite is Mint to Be. These are all some of their monochromatic ones, but I love this palette. This is beautiful, just really simple, 9 pans. Most looks that I create with this look the same. Like, it looks the same every time I make a look, but I know what to expect and I like what I'm getting out of it, so this is definitely one of my favorites. And then one of their 9 pans that I just got in 2021 that ended up being an unexpected favorite is the High Tide palette. This is their more teal palette. This is probably the best ColourPop palette I have performance-wise. These shadows are beautiful, they're super pigmented, they blend really easily, and the colors are really fun and unique. So those are a few of my ColourPop 9-pan palettes. I like a lot of them, but I would say these are 3 of my favorites. All right, another 9-pan palette that I really like is from ABH. This is one of the Norvina palettes. I have to be careful opening this because it does have some broken shades in here, but this is really fun and summery and bright. The Norvina shadows perform beautifully. My green shade did show up shattered. It's like the soft green shimmer. The shimmers I don't really care about in this palette, but the mattes are beautiful. But it is really fun and small and compact and just really colorful with a lot of really fun pops. I also have quite a few palettes from Huda Beauty, but my favorite of the small 9-pan palettes are definitely from the Nude collection. So I do have the Nude Light and the Nude Medium. So the Nude Light is just a really pretty springy nude palette. You do have like a pop of pink and purple in there, but just beautiful neutral mattes. The Nude Medium is a little richer, warmer toned. These just perform beautifully. I don't really like the other 9-pan palettes from Huda that I've tried, but the neutral ones are beautiful. I have a few palettes from Juvia's Place that also fit in my small palette category. So for what I'm wearing today, this is probably my newest Juvia's palette. This is the Allure 3, so very like neutral with a pop of blue. This blue shimmer is a really pretty duochrome. It's kind of blue to pink. The neutrals are definitely warmer leaning, but they are beautiful. Juvia's Place shadows, I usually really love the mattes and the shimmers. I could take or leave, but this blue shade, the way that it laid down, I think it's really pretty and really fun. So this is just a nice little 6-pan palette. I think these are only $15. The other Allure ones are pretty as well, but this was the one that definitely called to me the most. I have a couple 9 pans from Juvia's Place that I like. Now these are larger in size, but they are only 9 pans, and I think both of these are not available, which is really unfortunate. But I have the Tribe palette, which is one of my favorites from Juvia's Place. It's just a really unique color story. I love playing around with the bright yellow and lime green and the teal together. The oranges are really fun. Again, with the shimmers, I could take them or leave them, but the mattes in this palette are beautiful. Alright, I just realized I was holding up the wrong one. I actually meant to grab the Deuce. And this is definitely one of my favorite springy palettes from Juvia's Place. I love the pinks in here. I love the warm neutrals. This is one where I do really like the shimmers, the green and the pinks, and this kind of iridescent duochrome shade. This is another really pretty 9-pan. From Too Faced. Now Too Faced is a brand that's kind of fallen off for me, but one of my favorite neutral palettes is from them. This is the Sparkling Pineapple. It is scented, which is unfortunate because I don't really like the scent. It does go away like after you apply it and wear it, but this is just a beautiful, beautiful, small, great neutral travel palette. I love this palette. I bring this with me usually when I'm traveling to have a neutral option. Kind of a unique green duochrome in here as well, but this is a really good one. A super little palette from Natasha Denona. I have a couple of her minis. This is the Mini Nude, another great go-to travel neutral palette. Obviously there's not a lot of variety in here, so every time I do a look with this, it looks the same, but again, I know what to expect. It has its purpose. But these little mini palettes are great for travel. They're super small, but really sturdy, and Natasha Denona has great shadows. All right, I think we're down to purely indie makeup. So next up I have some small palettes from Odin's Eye. So these are actually the only Odin's Eye palettes that I have. My favorite of the two is the Verdandi, which I didn't think I was gonna love as much as I do. I love the look every time I use this palette. So they're 5 pans, but the middle shade is a split shade. Same with the Erd. This is a more green leaning palette. Again, really pretty. Shadows perform great. Nice size for travel as well. Another one that I bring traveling quite a bit is from Kaleidos. I do have several of the Futurism palettes, but the Sashimi City is probably my favorite and my most used. Now again, definitely more neutral leaning, but the shimmers in here are super unique when they're on the eye. Very like duochromy and shimmery. Just a really easy to use 6-pan palette. All of the Futurism palettes are great. This one is definitely my favorite. Right, and a couple of my Shroud palettes are also in my smaller palettes that I like to grab a lot. So I have the Creepy Cute. Now this is just a really great 8-pan palette. A lot of great pastels. You have the addition of a gray and a black in there. They did come out with the second Creepy Cute. The color story didn't quite call to me for that one, so I did not pick it up. But Shroud has a great formula, great shadows, and these are great pastels. My favorite from Shroud is still the Butte Bean, or now Batty Bean, the It's Freakin' Bats palette. This is just so special and unique. The mattes are just super pigmented, but they blend beautifully. The shimmers in here as well. You have some duochrome, some really pretty like soft greens. I've loved every look that I've made with this palette, and I think this is also like in my top 10 palettes of things that I would not get rid of, so it's great. From Nabla, I do have a little 6-pan cutie palette. Another great size palette. I think they have like a neutral version of this. They have some cooler tones, a blue one. This was the only one that like really called to me, but it's beautiful. Some of the shimmers are really fun and unique. The mattes blend out beautifully. Again, I don't feel like there's a great amount of variety in here, but for 6 pans, it's not bad. So my look ends up looking the same most of the times when I use this, but it is a beautiful little palette. From Lime Crime, I have an 8-pan palette. This is the Prelude Chroma. Now this I just think is a really fun, unique color story. The shadows perform beautifully. A couple of the shimmers are really unique and fun. For being 8 pans, this has a lot of variety. Packaging is a little bulky. It is what it is, but this is beautiful. Right. Another favorite palette of the last year is from Glaminatrix. This is the Silent Night palette. 8 pans, a lot of variety. This is beautiful. I have to swatch this Baubles shade. It's one of the most special shades I have in my collection. Great mattes, great shimmers. The only downside with Glaminatrix is that it like takes forever to get things because it's coming from Australia. Like I have the Nocturnal palette. I think it shipped like mid-end of April, and I'm still waiting on it. So they do take a while to get, but super worth it. Great products, great quality, and I love this one. All right, a newer brand on the market is Fantasy Cosmetica, and this is the Druid palette. So another 9-pan, just a really fun, unique fall color story. Some really unique shimmers again. Like those are just really, really pretty and unique. I'm definitely looking forward to pulling this out in the fall to just get that grungy fall look, but this is really great, a great first release for a new brand. And the newest small palette to my collection is another beautiful one. The last video that I posted was actually about this palette. This is from Black Moxie and it's the Boundless Bloom palette. This is in collaboration with Pixie Glow. All right, and I think the blue shade just crumbled out on me. All right, so the blue shade is a little crumbly. It's a really soft pressed matte, but it's super beautiful. I've done a few looks with this so far. This multi-chrome shade right here just has crazy dimension. This iridescent shade is just really pretty and special. I'm super excited to keep using it. I feel like 9 pans is kind of my perfect size for a palette. The variety that you can get into 9 pans is really great if it's well curated, which this definitely is. So yeah, that's my last small palette. So again, I do have a lot more like of the ColourPop 9 pans. I have a few other smaller palettes, but the ones that I shared today are ones that I really like and I find as like worth it. And I feel like the amount of shades, while it's 9 or smaller, were really well used and well chosen. So let me know below if you have any favorite smaller palettes. I'd love to hear about what other people are using. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.